What is going on, guys? PXCam here, back again with a brand new video. We are here for our Nations Cup race at my favorite track, as I was honestly so excited for this race. I just love the Group 2 cars here at Fuji International Speedway, as that's exactly what we're going to be doing here for this race, as we are ranked in 6th place for this Nations Cup race, as we do have A+ rank players, S rank players, and A rank players in this lobby. So it's going to be a very interesting race to see what we can do here, especially again, this is kind of like my favorite combination. I've been doing really well on this combination, but I haven't raced with the Group 2 cars on this track in a while, so I was just hoping that I can get back into the rhythm and hopefully get some really fast laps and competitive laps, stick with the strategy, and hopefully get a great finish on this race. So coming to the points, we are actually racing for 239 points if we get first place, but luckily all we needed to do was just get 159 points. So in order to help us out in the standings, all we had to do was get 159. So if we get over an 8th place position, we're basically going to be okay for the standings, and it's going to propel us forward in the Nations Cup. So if we do anything better than 8th, then basically it's going to be a win for us. But again, we're going to try to shoot for a podium. If not, let's try to get the maximum amount of points and get a win on this race. Now, before we jump into qualifying, if you guys really enjoy the content, we're trying to reach a goal of 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So if you guys enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, as it really helps out the channel when you guys do so. Anyways, that's enough promoting myself. Let's jump straight into qualifying. Now, as we jump into qualifying, the strategy here is going to be to try to get behind some cars and follow them on the slipstream, as that was going to be very important, as we do have a very long straightaway on this racetrack. So getting into the slipstream can really help you guys out and gain about 2/10 or 3/10 now as we come into our first flyer lap. So coming to our first flyer lap, we get a 132.7 as we try to do another one, and unfortunately we actually get a worse time there, as we are cutting it close, as we are now on our very final try for a qualifying lap. I was doing pretty well on the lap, but I was trying to push as much as I can on this final sector to try to catch up to the cars ahead of us and try to get into the slipstream as we come into the straightaway. Coming out of the final corner now, we're actually, I think, close enough to get to the slipstream as we fast forward here. And to see, let's see what we get here as we cross the start finish line. We get a 131.9, which is good enough for 5th place, but only 4/10 slower from the pole position as we wait for the confirmation now. And as we get the qualifying confirmation, we are starting in 5th place for this race now, as we jump up into the grid and talk about the strategy. So the strategy was a very interesting one here, as we did only get the hard compound tires for this race, and since that was the only tire compound here, we were just going to run that from the beginning of the race till the end of the race, since we didn't really need to come into the pits, since tire wear wasn't really that big of an issue. But when it came down to fuel, that was going to be the part that we really had to focus on, as you couldn't run the fuel all the way from the beginning to the end unless if you did some fuel savings. So we're going to try to stay behind some slipstream, try to short shift as much as we can, coast on the corners, and also play around with our power and fuel efficiency economy when we are racing on this race. So we're going to do as best as we can to try to stay as close as we can to a leader and just save as much fuel as we can, and to see if we can get a good finish here, as again, we are starting in 5th place. So let's try to avoid some trouble, and let's jump straight into the race. Jumping to the grid, we are waiting for the 5 red lights, as we are sitting here now, shifting the traction control to 1, and the lights are out, and away we go. As we come down to the start finish line, we are able to get a really good start now, as we are jumping to 4th place, trying to make a move onto the inside, as we do have space now, as we're trying to make a move on 3rd place, but he's going to cover the inside as we get bumped from behind, run straight into 3rd place. 3rd place goes into 2nd, and you see a little bit more contact going on there, as 1st place actually gets a really bad exit, and we're able to overtake him now, as we are able to gain 3 positions from the start and are able to promote ourselves into 2nd place, as we got an amazing start there after getting contacted from behind and then punching the car ahead of us. Let's see exactly what happened. You can just see it's just stacked up right there, as we got punched from behind. More cars ahead of us got punched, and you can see the colossal amount of cars behind, as we are just trying to get through this lap here cleanly now, as we are still stuck in 2nd place, as we are only about half a second away from 1st place now, as we are starting to focus on saving our fuel. So coming to the 6th corner right here, we are saving our fuel here, as we are starting to get pressure from behind, but we are trying to just short shift here, hold off into the inside, and hopefully we can save our 2nd place spot. As you can see, the car right behind us is getting very close now as we come into turn number 10. So jumping into turn number 10, we try to brake as late as we can, and we're able to do so there, cover our position. As you can see in the radar, a couple of cars behind us make contact, and we are able to build a little gap now from 3rd place now, as first place is starting to run away a little bit, as he was able to enhance his gap by about 1.5 seconds now as we are coming to the final sector. So coming to the final couple of corners, let's actually see what happened behind us here, as we luckily were getting through this without any incidents, but behind us is a different story. As you can see, cars were getting loose, wrecking each other, spinning out, getting penalties, and luckily again we did not get a penalty, and we were able to stay away from all the wrecking and just focus our sights now on first place and focus on saving fuel now as we come out of the final corner. So coming to the straightaway now, we are focusing on first place again as we are coming down the straightaway, and coming down to lap number 2. We are just focusing on our fuel here and focusing on the car behind us, as we actually found a really good strategy of coasting going into turn number 1, as that actually helped out a lot with the fuel economy. So that's something that I'm going to keep doing as we go further and further into the race. So you can see again, going to turn number 1, we just coast going into the corner, but it allows second or third place to catch up to us now. As you can see, first is just running away with it. Not sure exactly how it's getting away from us, as I think he's using up a lot of fuel now as we're coming into the middle sector. Coming to the middle sector, we still have the car right behind us, as we are just trying to get through here as cleanly as possible and just focus again on just saving as much fuel. As you can see, we are starting to pull away now from third place as we come into turn number 6, and coming to his left-hander now. You see 2 cars right behind us. They make contact and they push each other out wide. As you can see, we're starting to pull away now from third place, as we were able to make about a 1.2 gap. But coming to lap number 4 now, they are now on our back bumper now as we come down to the straightaway and try to focus on trying to stay right ahead of them now as we come down straight away. So coming down straight away, not sure exactly what happened here, as we did give third place a lot of room, as he did make a move onto the inside and then just tries to go as wide as he can on the exit and accidentally hits us. So that makes us lose momentum here, as we are now going side by side and drag racing to the line as we are coming to lap number 5. The moto car right underneath us is able to pass us now as we go back into the slipstream and just focus on saving some more fuel. And we're just going to use him here on the slipstream, save some fuel, and hopefully we can save enough to push towards the end of the race here as we come down out of turn number 1 and into turn number 2, leading us into Coca-Cola. So staying right behind the Canadian here as we head into Coca-Cola. We are short shifting here as we are shifting our fuel consumption to level number 3 now, as we are starting to still get pressure from behind now as we head into turn number 6. We're keeping on to the outside as the car underneath us makes the overtake. We try to make a cutback here, but we are unable to do so, and we lose third place right there as we come to a replay, seeing the blue Nissan right behind us make the move onto the inside. He's able to do so and make a really good clean pass, as again we tried making the cutback, but we were just unable to do so. And again, we're just gonna follow the blue Nissan right behind and see if we can just save as much fuel as we can, as the slipstream should be able to keep us with them as we come into lap number 6. So jumping into lap number 6 on the final sector, staying right behind the blue Nissan, we are shifting it into second power here for the fuel economy. As you can see, the strategy that we are doing here, just shifting as early as we can. Like, we're not even seeing the RPMs get to the gauge on the inside here, as we are just shifting as early as we can, going right at, like, I believe like 6,000 RPMs at the most, and then just shifting, up shifting, and then coasting into the corners as we come down now into the straightaway, leading us into lap number 7. So jumping into lap number 7 now, we were actually getting a little bit further away from the Nissan ahead of us, so we kind of had to push here now. As you can see, he is way out of our slipstream range as we are trying to get closer and closer to him. As we come into turn number 1, we try to brake as late as we can. We're able to do so. Luckily, the brakes were doing really, really well going to turn number 1, and that's when we were making up a lot of time on third place. So we were able to get really, really close here as we come into Coca-Cola, and we are now back in the slipstream here as we are actually running the best first sector there, as we did run purple, but we still have to save some fuel as we were only about half a lap short of fuel. So now we're just focusing on trying to get as close as we can back into third place. You can see he's still pulling away from us, as it's kind of like the name of the races. We kept getting closer, but at the same time he would get further away from us. And now coming into lap number 12, coming out of the final corner, we are trying to get as close as we can and just push as much as we can. So we do have enough fuel to make it till the end, and so we're just going to push as much as we can, try to catch up to third and second. As you can see, third actually comes into a pit, so I really wasn't expecting that. So that's going to help us out, as that promotes us now into the podium, and second place is right ahead of us, as we only have 2 laps to try to catch up to him now, as we're just going to try pushing as much as we can, since we do have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. So not sure how much fuel left is on the Canadian, as first place is just gone. Not sure exactly how he's able to make the gap from 1 second from the beginning of the race all the way to about 10 to 12 seconds here without using up a lot of fuel. So that was one thing I was also keeping aware of, is like how much fuel did first place have, but not only that, how much did the Canadian have right ahead of us. As you can see, we're getting closer and closer to him as we are just keeping the fuel efficiency all the way to power number 1 and just pushing as much as we can. As we do, again, we have more than half a lap extra of fuel, so we can push as much as we want. As you can see how much time we're gaining on him now as we come into turn number 10, coming to Dunlop chicane right here. We brake very, very late. We are now on the back bumper of the Canadian as he gets a little bit squirrely coming out of the corner, and we are just getting closer and closer to him now as we come into the third sector. Jumping into the final couple of corners, we are getting even closer to him as he gets onto the grass, gets a little bit loose, and we are just trying to force him as much as we can into a mistake. And you can see we're just getting closer and closer now as we come into the final 2 corners. So coming to the final corner now, we are very, very close to his back bumper as we are just pushing and pushing the car to its limit, as we only have 1 lap left and we have about 1.7 laps of fuel left. So we definitely have enough fuel as we go into the slipstream now. Coming to the final lap, we're getting closer and closer to the Canadians. He moves into the inside, tries to defend his position. We're going to go into the outside, shift the brake into 1 to the far, and unfortunately the Canadian outbrakes himself, goes straight into the outside, and we're able to make the easy overtake and promote ourselves into second place, as first place did not come into the pits. Coming to the replay, let's see exactly what happened here. Just the Canadian outbrakes himself, goes way wide, goes straight into the gravel trap, and then tries to go back into the track. Once he does that, he hits that green rumble strip part, and it actually just upsets his car even more, loses another position. So very, very unfortunate for the Canadian now, as we are setting our sights back on first place. So saying that we are about 12 seconds behind first place, I'm not sure exactly how he did that, as he saved enough fuel but was fast enough to get away from all of us. I'm not sure if the cars ahead of us were just fighting too much and slowing each other down, and on top of that, that was slowing us down or what, but somehow first place was able to hold us off and hold the entire field off, as he is going to finish this race in first place, 11 seconds ahead of us with enough fuel to finish the race. And as we come down to the line, we actually had about half a lap extra of fuel, so we probably could push a little bit more, but we are going to finish this race in second place after making a couple of overtakes, making some easy moves, and getting a really, really good start, as again, turn number 1 basically saved us, and luckily we were able to capitalize on a lot of that wrecking that was going on and push ourselves into second place, and then just save fuel from there and attack at the end. And luckily the Canadian made a mistake going into turn number 1, and we were able to make an easy overtake and finish this race in second place with 229 points added to our Nations Cup standing. So a very, very good day here at Fuji. I wish we could have gone for a win, but I don't know how first place did that. He was able to save a lot of fuel, but not only that, go very, very fast. And due to that, he was able to finish this race 11 seconds ahead of us, which is kind of embarrassing, but I'll take a second place and 229 points as that's going to help us out in the point standing. So if you guys found this video very entertaining and really good, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. It really helps out the channel when you guys do so. And if you guys want to support the channel, I have a link down below, link into my Patreon, so if you guys want to check that out, check that down below. And if you guys really enjoyed the video, I hope to see you guys on the next one. Peace out.